And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Spearfish High School, where we have day 2 of the East-West tournament right here in Spearfish between the Brandon Valley Lynx and the Spearfish Spartans. Here in Spearfish, Clayson Davis with you here at the morning show at KDSJ, and also doing the live stream right here with KDSJ-TV here in Spearfish. Again, this is day 2 of the East-West tournament, and we kick things off with Spearfish taking on Brandon Valley. Again, here with the East-West tournament, is Brandon Valley last week, actually yesterday, went 2-0 versus Douglas and versus Sturgis, and over there in Sturgis Brown High School. And then now today, Brandon Valley making their way over farther west to the city of Spearfish. Well, they will take on 3 teams today. They'll take on Spearfish, they'll take on Rapid City Central, they'll also take on Rapid City Stevens. Spearfish, they have Brandon Valley today, and then around 11 o'clock, we're on a rolling schedule, so that could very well change. We'll be going up against the Harrisburg Tigers, ranked number 1 in the state, 19-0, and on a 68-game win streak. So 2 tough East River teams here in Spearfish, and we will see what head coach Shelby Richards has the girls ready to go for these East River teams, part of the East-West tournament, as it's our Jake's Collision Repair pregame show. The Black Hills home team for collision repairs at 4415 East Colorado Boulevard in Spearfish, off exit 32 and Junction Avenue in Sturgis. Here in the Monument Health broadcast booth, here in top of the Spearfish High School at the top row, back against the wall here at this table where we usually sit for all of our sports broadcasts. You can see where we're at there on KDSJ-TV. Great view over the court as both teams are doing their warm-up hits, about 15 minutes on the clock before we get to game time. But anyways, I want to thank Monument Health for giving us our broadcast booth, our official sports medicine provider to several high schools in the Black Hills and Northeast Wyoming. When we come back, we will have our Laying the Foundation segment here, brought to you by Heiserling Concrete, as I was able to talk with head coach Shelby Richards yesterday, talking about some of the matchups with Brandon Valley and Harrisburg, as well as the matchups yesterday, and just a little more preview on how much it means to her to host the East-West tournament here in Spearfish. We'll hear from head coach Shelby Richards next as we continue with our pregame show right here on KDSJ. No matter what life throws in your direction, Dana Dental Arts in Spearfish reminds you to make you and your family's dental health a top priority. Putting off small problems now can lead to big ones later. We are small enough to feel like family, but big enough to bring you the latest technology. Before your lives get too hectic with school, sports, and other extracurricular activities, schedule a comprehensive exam now. We love our patients. Celebrating 50 years of dentistry in Spearfish.
Let our family care for your family.
Whether you've lived here for years or if you're new to town, everyone wants to know the best place to buy a quality pre-owned car, truck, and SUV, or where to go to have your current ride kept in shape. Brandon Kemp here from Superior Auto Solutions in Spearfish. Need new tires? We got them, all major brands. Your brakes squeaking, or do you just hear something that's not quite right? We can help. Or maybe you're looking to upgrade to something a little more suitable. Well, you came to the right place. Superior Auto Solutions on Colorado Boulevard in Spearfish, or find us online at superiorautost.com.
Our Jake's Collision Repair pregame show. I'm now joined by head Spearfish volleyball coach Shelby Richards, here to help preview the East-West tournament and see how Spearfish fares up with the best teams in the state. And anyways, Coach Richards, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
So going into this week, what is the mindset for you and the team going into this East-West tournament?
Really just focusing on ourselves like we have been this entire season, and just it's just another volleyball match, and that's how we have to look at it, and just making sure we stick to our guns on staying next ball mentality, which we've done a really good job at, and we're going to see some different things that we haven't in the last 2 weeks. So just making sure that we really are mentally prepared to move on from mistakes, because they are going to happen. I think it'll be really good matchups for us because it's going to be more of that tempo that we have in our gym consistently, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
as the East-West tournament is here in Spearfish. Describe the importance of hosting such a big event here for not just the school of Spearfish High, but just the entire community as a whole.
I think it's always fun when you can host these things at home because you can draw that community in and they can come in and enjoy it with us rather than online. And being able to be at your home gym is always a great thing, right? You know the gym, you know the court. This morning, since kids didn't have school, we just got done with breakfast, so made sure they were up and at them. And it's just always a fun atmosphere. So we're very thankful that we're here to be the rotation. It's not very often, so we're very thankful that it's this year of all years that we're hosting it.
What has this week of practice looked like, and is there anything you need to prepare for with playing these East River teams that you haven't seen a lot of here with the schedule you guys have played so far this season?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to look a lot different, like I said. I mean, Hot Springs gave us a run on Tuesday, so that was really good, and we just weren't really settled in Tuesday, so we came back and worked really hard on Wednesday, Thursday, and one thing we're going to have to do is make sure that as hitters, we're working around the block, which then we really rely on our back row to communicate with what they're seeing. So again, just making sure they're doing all those little things. We had some people come in and help us out, just be a bigger block for us, because that is one thing the last 2 weeks we have not seen. And then it's always a serve and pass game. So we've got to make sure that we're getting them out of system as often as we can, and then make sure that we're on our defensive calls the right way. And again, just have fun, enjoy the ride. It's a game we enjoy playing. So as long as we can just stay positive and next ball mentality, I do think it's going to be a pretty fun weekend for us.
As you come into this tournament, being one of the top ranked teams in the state as far as power points go, and also riding that 18-game win streak, is there any pressure with these expectations that girls have felt this late in the season?
I don't know if it's pressure as in a sense of like where we're sitting, but they do understand how important these are going into our last 2-3 weeks here of regular season. And as kind of you and I were talking about, our power points are massive, and that's, you got to be in the top 8 to host, and that's our goal. We just got to make sure we're getting ourselves set up for success at the end of the year, and these are big. I think a lot of it is we get overlooked, and I think people are probably looking at our schedule and being like, oh, they're playing, A schools, or their schedule isn't as intense as ours. So we just have to make sure that we prove who we are, and that it's not a fluke that we are in the situation we are. And I watched a few of the games of the opponents we're going to be playing, and it's going to be a very good matchup. They kind of run pin-to-pin like us, faster tempo, big blocks, great defensive, scrappy plays are going to happen. So I think just trusting that we've earned every win that we have up to this point, and we are where we need to be.
As head coach Shelby Richards from Spearfish Volleyball joins us here on KDSJ Sports, talk a little bit about some of the opponents you guys will be facing. Of course, with tonight's action being against Brookings, number 5 Watertown, and Yankton, and then tomorrow playing Brandon Valley and the big bad Harrisburg Tigers on that 66-game win streak. But talk a little bit about some of the opponents you'll see and the main differences between East River teams and West River teams that you've played this season.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to start off with Brookings, and Brookings we ran into down in the Huron tournament. And I will say this, so it's the wholehearted truth. I think we had the most hitting errors any team has ever had. I think we ended up with like 23 hitting errors. It was a game where our hitters just could not get going. And ever since then, we really cleaned that up. So I think the Brookings matchup is going to be really fun and kind of a chance for us to prove like, hey, we have gotten a lot better since that opening weekend. Again, they run a 5-1, same sort of offense as we do. We're just going to have to be aware of where their holes are, which is kind of what we practiced coming into this weekend. Watertown, of course, they're number 5, but they're ones that we got to make sure that we are ready for a fast pace. They're probably going to be one of the fastest teams that we see this weekend, along with Harrisburg, and they're big. I think their average height's probably like 5'11", where we're maybe pushing 5'9", 5'8". So just seeing different hands and like that height makes a difference, but we were really good at like raising up to the challenge and the speed. And when our girls don't have time to think, we actually play better. When we have that gray area, we've talked a lot as a program is we don't like that. So that speed is going to be great for us. And I think we're going to rise to the challenge. Yankton's another one. It'll be I think, great matchup across the board. They're a little bit lower in the standings, but again, they're seeing those bigger teams throughout their season, which is preparing them for faster pace the entire time. Brandon Valley, they always seem to be, progressing really good at the end of the seasons. And so when we get them on this weekend, we've got to play clean and we've got to make sure we stay true to ourselves. So again, they're a little bit faster. They like to run their middles quite a bit. And then of course you have Harrisburg. Harrisburg is doing great things. I was in Harrisburg, so I think once a Tiger, always a Tiger. So deep down, always cheering for them until we play them. But we have to remember any team can have a bad game or a bad moment, and just making sure that, hey, whatever the score is, we got to move on and enjoy playing those teams. We're going to be playing some teams that have some D1 athletes signed, D2 athletes, and that's always really fun to see where we're at compared to them. But again, it's just another volleyball match, and never know what the game's going to actually do. It's a game of momentum, and if we get it on our side, things can definitely shake some other teams up.
Awesome. And finally, Coach, what are some of your keys to success here with the entire East-West tournament this weekend?
Again, we've just got to pass the ball. We can't get shook by some serves. They're going to be a little bit more aggressive than what we've been seeing, kind of like we talked about. Swings are going to come a lot faster. We might get one crushed in our face in front of 10-foot line, and that's literally when you just look at that hitter and you're like, dang, that's a good hit, and just worry about bettering the next ball. You can't get upset at yourself on some of these shots that are going to be taken because they're going to be good shots. I do think we're going to respond well, and we are going to find ways to score and get teams out of system. That is one thing that, looking East River, they're at an advantage because they are playing faster teams all year round, where we kind of have the up-down. As you and I have kind of talked about, these A teams, they're just a little bit slower, and not in a bad way, but it's just a slower pace. And so when you have to go from slower to faster, it's a big mindset and making sure that you're locked in on your fundamental skills. So again, I think these girls are ready. They were super excited. We had a great practice yesterday. So I'm very thankful for this opportunity for these kids to really see where we match up.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have, Head Coach Shelby Richards, and thank you for joining KDSJ Sports, and go out there and make all of West River proud with this East-West tournament.
Absolutely. Thank you.
As that was Head Coach Shelby Richards from Spearfish Spartan Volleyball, and we have more of our Jake's Collision Repair pregame show coming after this.
Repair has built their reputation by offering the highest quality, guaranteed repairs in the area. Satisfied customers return again and again for everything from collision repair to custom paint, glass and windshield, and the best hail repair in the region. They're preferred by most insurance companies and work with all of them. Jake's Collision Repair of Spearfish and Sturgis. Give them a Google today for the best repair on your vehicle, guaranteed.
And we're back here in Spearfish, where Spearfish Spartan High, they are warming up their serves and their kills here on the floor as Brandon Valley looks on as both teams about ready to kick off day 2 of the East-West Volleyball Tournament here in Spearfish. As we just laid the foundation with head coach Shelby Richards. Yesterday I was able to sit down and talk with her previewing this tournament. And with this Brandon Valley squad, she says that they love to go to their middles a lot, and I understand that because they have some tall girls all in the middle hitter position, including number 3, Abby Gruber. She's a junior at 5'11". She is in the top 3 in kills. They have 3 girls in the triple digits, 2 girls in the triple digits with kills. Gruber and her teammate Jayana Stroh, the outside hitter at 5'8", a junior, but she leads the team in kills. Also, we have Kennedy Boomsma, a sophomore, but still 6 feet tall. As again, Spearfish starting to warm up. Spearfish, I think the average height for the Spearfish Lady Spartans averaging probably around 5'7", 5'8". Quite a bit of a contrast to Brandon Valley in the size and the height of that East River teams traditionally have, especially yesterday versus Watertown, where Watertown, they had their way offensively versus Spearfish. And we'll see if Spearfish learned anything from that game as they're getting warmed up here on the nets. Let's go lay the foundation to this contest a little bit farther. Again, laying the foundation brought to you by Heiserland Concrete. Give them a call at 210-2320. Again, starting off with the Brandon Valley Lynx. They, again, are 11-11 on the year, according to my records. Serving, we went over their few of their stats, the attacking stats. Serving aces, they're led by their libero, number 1, a freshman, Logan McGuire. She leads the team in aces with 26. And then Maya Van Western, a sophomore. She is second in the team in aces. Meanwhile, at the net, blocking it, everything runs through number 10, Ashley Ertelt. She has 40 solo blocks on the season. 44 total blocks on the season. And she is a blocking machine, one of their main middles for Brandon Valley. Looking to get her going on the defensive side to really put up a nice wall to go up against these smaller but very athletic and scrappy hitters for Spearfish. Digging, they are great on the defensive side of the ball, Brandon Valley, as they have, I believe, 4 girls, to my count, that have triple digits in the digging aspect of the game. As Spearfish, I believe they only just have 2. Their leading defensive specialist for digs, that is Maya Van Western, the sophomore. Very young team, Brandon Valley is. I see only 1 senior on the varsity roster that traveled all the way here to Spearfish. So a very young roster, but very talented with a lot of size and a lot of athleticism. And like Coach Richard said in the pregame, they love to speed up the tempo and get their bigs and their middles involved early and often. Meanwhile, let's look at the Spearfish Spartans. They come into this contest 20-6. They came into this weekend riding a 19-game winning streak that was put to a halt by Watertown. As Spearfish playing a lot of Class A teams this year, not having to travel very far over to East River, South Dakota, but having a chance to put up their skills with the best of the best, and they're going to get 2 of the best teams in the state today in Brandon Valley and Harrisburg. Again, led by the junior Addie Bowman, outside hitter, only 5'7", but she leads the team in kills and also ties for the team lead in blocks. Defensively, Brooklyn Yackley, the libero, she was all over the floor yesterday, having some great digs against some powerful hitters from the east side of the state. She leads the team defensively. And of course, Avery Kirk, the do-it-all senior, she plays all 6 positions in the rotation. Third on the team in kills, second on the team in digs, and she can do it all for the Spearfish Lady Spartans. We're going to quickly go to our matchup menu, brought to you by South Dakota Beef Logic. Looking over some other games going on in the state. Of course, we have the second half of the East-West tournament happening today. Spearfish will play Brandon Valley and Harrisburg. Sturgis, they'll play Yankton, Brookings, and Watertown, the 3 teams that Spearfish played yesterday. Douglas will also play those 3 teams. Douglas will also play Brookings, Watertown, and Brandon Valley. Rapid City Central and Rapid City Stevens are here in Spearfish as well. They will take on Brandon Valley and Harrisburg in their own respects. And then the only other Class AA match going on today is Aberdeen Central hosting Pierre. As we've hit the national anthem, we'll take a quick break, come back with our Dana Dental Arts starting lineups right here on KDSJ-TV and KDSJ Radio.
Quality food at a fair price. That's what you expect, and that's what you'll get at the Millstone Family Restaurant in Spearfish. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or to grab a bite to eat before or after the game. Choose from daily specials, and a trip to the fresh soup and salad bar is always a hit. Plus, the Millstone can accommodate larger groups, like buses or your next meeting in their private party room. So, if it's just you and a friend or the whole team, get a great meal at a great price. The Millstone Family Restaurant in Spearfish.
American Colloid, a minerals technologies company, is not only part of the community we live in, they are the community. Bentonite clay, mined right here in our own backyard near Belfouche in Colony, Wyoming, provides a contributing factor to this area's economic success. This unique product has a huge range of uses, from the main component in cat litter to health and beauty products, pharmaceuticals, and more. It's all produced right here in all of our community. American Colloid Company, working together, winning together.
For over 10 years, Allied Construction has been a trusted name in the Black Hills, providing top quality construction services to our local community. We take pride in being a local business with deep roots in the area. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust us to deliver exceptional results on every project. Our team is dedicated to providing personalized service, ensuring your project gets the attention and expertise it deserves.
Check out their website today. Click alliedconstruction.com or find them on Facebook.
As we're back here in Spearfish for the starting lineups for both teams. I'm trying to get these starters wrote down really quick.
And now the starting lineups for your Spearfish.
As we have the East-West tournament right here in Spearfish. As game one sees the Spearfish Lady Spartans taking on the Brandon Valley Lynx. It's time to go over our Dana Dental Arts starting lineups, where a beautiful smile is always in style here in Spearfish. Starting off for Brandon Valley, they will go with the libero, number 2, Maya Van Western, a sophomore. Number 3, Abby Gruber. She's a middle hitter, one of those tall middle hitters for Brandon Valley. She's a junior at 5'11". Gianna Stroh, she leads the team in kills. Number 4, she's a junior at 5'8", outside hitter. Rhea Shelley, she is the setter, a 5'7", a junior. Logan Torgrud, she is an outside hitter at 5'6", just a sophomore. Ashley Ertel, to the middle hitter, a sophomore at 6 foot. And then number 16, Kennedy Boomsma, middle hitter at 6 foot. Meanwhile, for the Spearfish Lady Spartans, they're going to go with their normal rotation with Adeline Bowman, the outside hitter, junior, along with the junior Callie Reiners at the setter position. Faith Hoffman, she's a defensive specialist, but she does get quite a few kills at only 5'3", a junior. Avery Kirk, the do-it-all senior, outside hitter / middle blocker, a senior at 5'9". Tabitha Zanstra, middle hitter at 5'10", junior for Spearfish. Addie Keller, the sophomore, the outstanding sophomore at 5'9", outside hitter. And of course the libero, wearing the maroon jersey, that's Brooklyn Yackley, the senior at 5'6". As we just went over our Dana Dental Arts starting lineups, I also got to shout out our referees, brought to you by South Dakota Attorney General's Office, Division of Consumer Protection. First serve is up, and we're underway here in Spearfish. First hit and its first kill for Brandon Valley. That's Abby Gruber. Bump, set, spike, and that's a quick point for Brandon Valley as they get this party started with a 1-0 lead. Thank you for joining us here in Spearfish with the East-West Tournament. As now Spearfish, their first setup offensively, go to Keller. Keller's blocked back in the face of Spearfish. Now Spearfish with another setup. Goes to Bowman. Her serve is slightly blocked. Now Brandon Valley returns it, and we got a good volley going here. Just the second set. Tip over by Faith Hoffman. Now here comes Brandon Valley, the middle blocker again on the rolling shot. That's Abby Gruber again. She finds the floor for the second time early in this contest, and it is 2-0 Brandon Valley. As Coach Shelby Richards said that Brandon Valley, they love to use their middles early and often, and that's an ace. Brandon Valley off to a 3-0 start. It is kind of an early morning for any sort of activities. Game started at around 9 o'clock, and we're about 5 minutes past the top of the 9 o'clock hour. As serve to the outside to Adeline Bowman. Then she hits it clear to the back row. Now here comes Brandon Valley. Hit over by Melcher wasn't good. Now here comes the tip that time. A good job by Brandon Valley to get control of it. They'll stay on their side. Tip by Brandon Valley is no good. Now Spearfish couldn't quite dig that one cleanly. And now Addie Reiners, the setter, tried just bumping it over, and it goes out of bounds. 4-0 Brandon Valley off to a full 4-0 start. Here comes Spearfish. Here's a spike that time by Addie Keller. It doesn't even get over the net, and it falls down on Spearfish's side, and it is a 5-0 run early for Brandon Valley. Now back to serve the freshman, Logan McGuire. Top three in the team in digs for Brandon Valley. Keller sends it over. Now here comes Brandon Valley offensively from the back row. It finds the near inside corner for Brandon Valley, and it is 6-0. Brandon Valley Lynx on top of the Spearfish Spartans. Great job that time coming from the back row. Number 4, Gianna Stroh. She leads the team in kills, and that back row attack always so hard to stop. Great serve that time by Brandon Valley. See if Spearfish can get anything going offensively. Keller hits that one clear out into the hallway, and it's out of bounds. And now it's 7-0 Brandon Valley over Spearfish. Head coach Shelby Richards electing not to use a timeout, having her girls choose to rally. Again, Brandon Valley 11-11 on the season. They've played the best of the best in the state, and that's an ace. As Addie Bowman couldn't quite receive that serve, it goes off the side of her arm and it goes into the crowd. It's an 8-0 run early for Brandon Valley. Again, they went 2-0 yesterday versus Sturgis and Douglas. Back to serve is Logan McGuire, and she's been having a field day early from the service line. And, of course, the good old announcer jinx sits in as she hits that one past the back line and out of bounds. That's Spearfish's first point of the contest. So now we'll go to Adeline Bowman, the junior, leads the team in kills and ties for the team lead in blocks. Brandon Valley kind of all sorts of out of rhythm, dug up by Yackley. Set to the middle, Avery Kirk, and Avery Kirk hits that one against the back wall and out of bounds. Now a substitution for Brandon Valley. Out goes Logan Torgrud. Into the game is number 7. That's Jana James, the senior, only senior at 5'5" here for the Brandon Valley Lynx. Avery Kirk, attack from the outside, and she hits it long again. It's now 10-0. Brandon Valley on top. Back to serve again is Jana James. Dug up by Avery Kirk. A good job by Faith Hoffman just to set it over. Here comes Brandon Valley. Great dig that time by Adeline Bowman. Keller outside. She couldn't quite get to the ball, and she tips it right straight into the net, and it's now 11-1. And we have a substitution coming into the game for the first time for Spearfish. That is Lily Sabowski, 5'11" junior. As she now enters the rotation. Hit outside to Avery Kirk. Kirk gets it partially blocked and dug up by Brandon Valley. Here comes the middle hitter in Brandon Valley. That's number 3, Abby Gruber. And she nailed it with authority, finding the open spot in the middle of the defense. And she is leading the Brandon Valley Lady Lynx in kills early in this one. It's 12-1. Yackley digs up the serve, and Reiners tries tipping it over. Great job by Brandon Valley to recover. And now an off shot by Gianna Stroh goes into the net. Now Spearfish, they have scored only their second point of the game, and it's a 2-12 ball game. And thank you for joining us here this Saturday morning on KDSJ Radio and KDSJ-TV, giving you the East-West tournament here in Spearfish. Yackley with the serve, and it was dug up by Brandon Valley. And now a powerful tip over past Spearfish, as that was Gianna Stroh. She can fly through the air. She jumped about 5 feet away from the net and floated all the way toward the net to get that tip. And now Brandon Valley having their way with Spearfish. Great dig that, nope, it's way out of bounds. Looked like from my point of view, Adeline Bowman had a chance to dig up that low serve, but it goes off the side of her hand again and it rolls out of bounds. It is 14-2, Brandon Valley on top of Spearfish. Again, game 1 of the East-West tournament. Serve, that time Bowman gets a hold of it. Reiner sets up for the middle. Zanstra, she finds the middle of the floor. The first kill for Spearfish comes at a 14-3 score in the contest. Now Faith Hoffman the junior at 5'3". She'll serve over to Brandon Valley. They're setting up the defense. Here's the middle. Great dig that time by Faith Hoffman. See if Spearfish can use it. Kirk gets it dug up by the back row. Now here comes Stroh. Stroh nails it into the net. And Spearfish, they have scored back-to-back points for the first time this match. See if that builds on some momentum. Faith Hoffman, again the junior at 5'3". She had quite a few kills in the Brookings game yesterday. And a tip that time by Brandon Valley. Now outside to Kirk. Kirk hits across court, dug up by the libero Van Western. Now Spearfish on the attack. Where's a great tip that time by Avery Kirk. Kirk tips it back over. Brandon Valley out of sorts. Now it's back to Spearfish. Set up middle. Zanstra hits the block. Dug up that time by Van Western. Here comes Stroh. Stroh hits it off the libero and it goes out of bounds off the hand of Brooklyn Yackley. And that's another kill for Jayona Stroh, the outside hitter, junior at 5'8" for Brandon Valley. Now we'll have a swap of volleyballs. As back to serve is number 5, Raya Shelley. Getting the ball from our law on the court. Again, brought to you by South Dakota Attorney General's Office, Division of Consumer Protection. Here's Brandon Valley. Stroh. Stroh gets it partially blocked. Now Spearfish able to set up their offense. Avery Kirk hits it cross court. Van Western with the dig. Now Stroh. Stroh nails that one against the back wall and out of bounds. And Spearfish back to a 10-point deficit. The senior, Avery Kirk, the serve. Just lofts the one over just right in front of the net. And it looks like Bowman sits it right back to her. Stroh this time from the right side, and they will, I believe, I don't know if it's a double contact or what the foul was. I didn't think Adeline Bowman was in the net, but she did something, some sort of legal to the game of volleyball, as that point goes to Brandon Valley, and it's back to an 11-point lead. Now, Stroh is back to serve. Set up for Bowman on the outside. Bowman just barely finds the outside of the back line of the volleyball courts, and it's out of bounds, and it's now the lead is 12 for Brandon Valley. Gianna Stroh, she has been the catalyst for Brandon Valley as she hits that one straight toward Faith Hoffman. She's not able to dig it up. That's an ace from Gianna Stroh. Again, Brandon Valley, very young team, only one senior on the varsity roster that came here to Spearfish. A lot of juniors and sophomores, a lot of tall juniors and sophomores, as finally Tabitha Zanstra, she's able to use her middle hitter position to hit the ball past the Brandon Valley block and down, and it's now a 18-6 ball game with Zanstra. Now it's her turn to serve. Here comes Brandon Valley on the outside. That's Torgrud. She hits it back over. Now here comes Bowman. Bowman can't get the tip over past the net. She hits it straight into the net. And now it is a 19-6. Zanstra will take a seat and then enter the libero, Brooklyn Yackley. Maya Van Western now to serve the libero. Great serve, as now Reiners will just tip it over. Great job by Brandon Valley to recover. Now Spearfish, they're able to set it up. This is the middle hitter for Zabowski. Zabowski is able to have her tip get dug up, but no one was home for Brandon Valley for that second hit, and now it's a 7-19 ball game. Callie Reiners, the star junior setter with the serve. Now here comes the middle hitter. Great dig that time by Avery Kirk. Bowman kind of flat-footed, hits that one over the net. Yackley right there for the dig. Here comes the middle hitter for Sabowski. Sabowski just elects to tip it over. Now here comes on the outside from the back row, and right there is Spearfish to recover. Bowman hits it flat-footed again. Dug up by Brandon Valley. Here's the middle hitter. Blocked that time by Sabowski. And now Spearfish starting to get a little confidence on offense. Sabowski nails that one against the back wall and out of bounds. Just when you thought Spearfish was able to get some rhythm defensively, had some great blocks against the middle hitter that time, but from Brandon Valley, that's Abby Gruber, a 5'11" junior. They were able to set up the block against her quite a few times, but Sabowski had a chance to hit her home and hit her long. Now Brandon Valley on to serve. It's dug up by Faith Hoffman. He's going to serve outside to Hoffman. Hoffman just a nice little tip, pancaked against the floor, and Brandon Valley hits it into the net twice and can't get it over in 3, and that'll be a point for Spearfish, set up by the serve from, that was Mariah Bowman, not Faith Hoffman. Now Brandon Valley on the attack outside and finding the near inside corner. That is Gruber. She rolls to the outside and hits a line drive straight down the volleyball line and finding the inside corner. Now coming into the ball game, back is Gianna Stroh, and Spearfish I don't think wants to see her on the court. Outside to Avery Kirk. Kirk gets it dug up by the back row. Battle at the net, and Brandon Valley will hit it over in 3. She's going to set it to Kirk again. Kirk tips it and does not have enough English on it as she hits it into the net. 22-8. As this has been Brandon Valley's set the entire time, and when it rains, it pours. As that serve hit the very top of the net, rolls up the net and falls straight down on Spearfish's side. And now we have 2 points and before Brandon Valley claims set 1. Spearfish trying to at least get to double digits. As we got a lift that time by Brandon Valley's libero, Maya Van Western. So now the senior Brooklyn Yackley. It is her turn to serve. Top 3 in the team in serving aces. Now an outside hit, blocked but down by the outside hitter, middle hitter, Abby Gruber. So whenever Gianna Stroh is off the bench, they look to serve. They look to set for number 3, Abby Gruber, and now it is a set point. I need to update the scoreboard on KDSJ-TV. My apologies, 24-9. Spearfish could potentially not even reach double digits, and again the good old announcer jinx sets in as Brandon Valley tips it into the net, and now Spearfish, they hit double digits at a 24-10 venture in the ball game, and it's set point number 2 for Brandon Valley. Hoffman hits it over the net, and now a tip that time by Brandon Valley. Great job, great effort that time by Faith Hoffman to get it over. Now Stroh, dug up by Yackley. Yackley has to just send it back over with the dig on the overpass, and that is point number 25 for Brandon Valley as they take set 1 at 25-10. We'll take a quick break in the action, come back with set number 2, see if Spearfish can make any adjustments. Set number 2 of game number 1 of day number 2 of the East-West tournament coming up right after this short break right here on KDSJ Radio and KDSJ-TV.
At Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, we are here to help you make your comeback. Our team is standing by to diagnose and treat your injury with some of the most advanced treatment options available and same-day appointments. Monument Health practitioners work closely with our therapists and physicians in communities throughout the Black Hills, with locations in Rapid City and Spearfish. Visit monument.health/orthopedics for more information. That's monument.health/orthopedics for more information.
You see them everywhere. That's because Heinzerling Concrete of Spearfish is the most trusted name for everything from driveways, sidewalks, decorative stamp patios, and of course, foundations. Heinzerling Concrete is proud to support the activities that help our area youth build their foundation for future success. Whatever the job, Heinzerling Concrete is the name you can trust. Google Heinzerling Concrete in Spearfish or call 210-2320.
As we are back here in Spearfish at Spearfish High with the set number 2 of the East-West tournament. Here with KDSJ Radio and KDSJ-TV. Clayson Davis normally in the studio in Spearfish at this time of morning here in Spearfish with the morning show, Saturday morning with Clayson Davis. But instead, I'm here doing the morning show. We're giving you some East River versus West River Class AA volleyball. As first set between Brandon Valley and Spearfish, it was the Lynx every day and half the night that entire first set, as they had their way offensively with Spearfish winning set number 1 25-10. As Spearfish taking their time in the huddle, have 1 minute left to go before we have to do the Junix Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram scoreboard. As we look at see if there's any scores updated yet. Harrisburg leads beat Rapid City Central in set 1 25-8. Watertown beat Douglas in set 1 over in Sturgis 25-12. So now we're ready to roll here with set number 2. Maya Van Western, the libero for Brandon Valley. She gets the party started, and we're off and going in set 2 with Spearfish. And right on cue, we have Addison Keller with the outside hit. She finds the near inside corner, hitting cross court, and has the ball down and in for point number 1 for Spearfish, their first lead of the game. Now outside, blocked that time by Spearfish. That was Gruber on the attack. They'll try to the other side, blocked again by Spearfish. Addie Bowman and Addison Keller combine on the block as they set it to the other side, where Kennedy Boomsma tried to lay in the boom and had it slap back in her face with that block. And now it is a 2-0 start for Spearfish. So already a much better start for Spearfish offensively. That kill partially blocked by Spearfish, and now Bowman sends it back over in 2. Boomsma on the outside, dug up by Yackley, and is recovered by Callie Reiners, and Yackley will just free ball it over. Brandon Valley about didn't have a hold of that one, and then right before a disaster struck, here comes the middle hitter, Abby Gruber, to nail it home for the Lady Lynx. Be Brandon Valley's first point of the game, as Boomsma will take a seat and enter the freshman Logan McGuire, and she is back to serve. Her serve is low and outside for a service error, and now is a 2-point lead for Spearfish. Again, with this tournament setting, it is a best of 3. So if the first one to win 2 sets wins the match, as we looks like to have an error on Spearfish, and that will be a point for Brandon Valley, and it's a 3-2 ball game. As Logan Torgrud will head to the bench and enter Jana James on to serve for Brandon Valley. It's dug up by Bowman, hit outside to Kirk. Kirk gets it tipped and recovered by Brandon Valley. Middle hitter that time not quite there for Brandon Valley, and they'll just have to send it over. Now outside to Keller. Keller hits it across courts, finds the middle and finds the floor. And Addie Keller off to a great start for Spearfish offensively, as now she will stroll over to the bench and bring in their middle blocker, Tabitha Zanstra. 4-2 start for Spearfish. I believe they've woken up a little bit after set number 1. Here's a great dig that time by Bowman as she went up against Gruber. Now Avery Kirk just has to free ball it over. And looks like it'll be 4 hits on Brandon Valley. And that's another point for Spearfish. 5-2 ball game. Again, thank you for joining us here with KDSJ Radio and KDSJ-TV. Hitting it over that time was Faith Hoffman, and the tip by Brandon Valley to send it back. No one was home for Spearfish, and that's a point for the Lynx. Again, thank you for joining us right here on KDSJ-TV and KDSJ Radio. Again, coming up at around 11 o'clock, we'll have the number 1 and undefeated Harrisburg Tigers stroll into Spearfish and take on the Spartans to conclude the East-West tournament. Tipped that time by Brandon Valley. That was courtesy of number 4, Gianna Stroh. Finds the back court for Spearfish, and now Brandon Valley's back to within 1 at a 5-4 ball game. Brandon Valley with the serve. That was Gruber. Now set outside to Kirk. Kirk finds the wall and a double contact, trying to dig up the block from Brandon Valley. Gives a point to Spearfish, and they're back up by 2. Thanks to more of our sponsors for doing KDSJ Local Sports on this Saturday morning. Granted Automotive, Fisher Sand and Gravel, Wolf's Plumbing and Heating, Exit 14, Exit 8, Phillips 66. They have wonderful breakfast sandwiches as well. As we have Spearfish into the net, making it a 6-5 ball game, as Boomsma will come back into the game for Logan McGuire, and back to serve is number 5, Rhea Shelley. Shelley's serve is dug up by Yackley. Yackley outside to Kirk. Kirk finds the block, and the block finds the floor on Spearfish's side, as now Brandon Valley has tied the game up at 6 apiece. Great block that time by Boomsma, and then I also have, I believe that's number 13, Alexa Harms. So now Spearfish, Reiners will just tip it over. Great hustle that time by Brandon Valley to get it over, and just like that, Gianna Stroh makes her presence felt as she nails that one straight to the backcourt of Spearfish, and now Brandon Valley, they take their first lead of the second set. As Shelley will go to have her second serve from this round at the service line, as Faith Hoffman digs up the serve. Bowman hits it back to the backcourt, dug up by Brandon Valley. Stroh has her attack dug up by Faith Hoffman. Now Kirk will just have to send it over. No rhythm that time by Spearfish. Back to Stroh, flat-footed, hits it way out of bounds, and Spearfish, they'll tie things back up at 7. Spearfish playing with a lot more confidence and a lot more fire this second set, as the first set they seemed to be sleepwalking, might have still been in bed, as they were trailed at one point 15-2. It's a 7-7 ball game now, as Boomsma is partially blocked by Bowman. Head outside to Bowman. Bowman serves. The set was a little too far in front of the net, as now going over to Brandon Valley. Gruber hits it out of bounds, and it's now an 8-7 point in the contest of the second set, with Spearfish holding a 1-point lead. Again, only one game has gone to 3 sets, and that was between Rapid City Central and Brookings. The middle hitter that time, Gianna Stroh, she makes up for her last hit out of bounds, nailing it from her middle hitter position, down and in for Brandon Valley, and we're back to a tie ball game. Yackley with the dig, going to Zanstra in the middle, and she found the 2 hands of Ashley Ertelt, who leads the team in block for Brandon Valley, and you can see why. She put up both hands, and the ball found both of those hands and didn't go much farther. So now it's a 8-9 ball game, and Yackley can't control the serve, and that is an ace. So Gianna Stroh from the service line makes it a 2-point ball game for Brandon Valley. Again, if they win this set, they win the match with the best of 3. Another tough serve by Gianna Stroh is not controlled by Spearfish, and it falls on their side. And now Brandon Valley's off to their largest lead of the game, of the set. And that will make head coach Shelby Richards call a timeout. We'll take a quick one with them. We'll be back in 30 seconds with more of this second set of the first game of the East-West tournament here on KDSJ-TV and KDSJ Radio.
It's not one, but 2 great locations in Spearfish to gas up and get what you need on the go. Exit 8 and Exit 14 Speedy Marts offer everything you need so you can get in and get out and get back on the road. Find your favorite snacks and a cold drink, or maybe something fresh from the kitchen or in the cold case. It's all homemade right here. And Exit 8 and Exit 14 offers top-tier fuels from Phillips 66, so you get the most from your transportation. Exit 8 and 14 Speedy Marts in Spearfish. Right off the road, right on the money.
Do-it-yourself made easy with help from...
As we're back here in Spearfish, where it's an 11-8 ball game. Brandon Valley already took set number 1 by a score of 25-10. Now on to serve for Brandon Valley, we have a number 4, Gianna Stroh. As Yackley with the dig. And set up to Adeline Bowman. Bowman will hit it clear out of bounds. And they'll give another point to Brandon Valley as they are now on a 4-0 scoring run. And it's all thanks to Stroh hitting from the front court and also being great from the service line. As a tip that time by Torgrud is dug up by Spearfish. Goes back to Brandon Valley. And right there on the block is Adeline Bowman and Tabitha Zanstra. So now Addie Keller will come in for Spearfish. The libero Brooklyn Yackley will take a seat. Tabitha Zanstra on to serve. As out of rhythm that time was Brandon Valley, and coming into the net that time was Logan Torgrud. As a Spearfish, they have scored 2 straight. Still a 2-point ball game. And Spearfish will have one more contest today against Harrisburg. As Torgrud gets it blocked back at her, still live for Brandon Valley. A hit outside by Boomsma. It doesn't go far, and now a tip over by Callie Reiners. It goes off a Brandon Valley Lynx defender, and it rolls out of bounds. And now it's a 3-0 run for Spearfish. Still a 1-point lead for Brandon Valley. But the leading acer for Spearfish, Tabitha Zanstra, she's doing work from the service line. There's now Brandon Valley trying to set up their offense with Boomsma. Hits cross court, dug up by Faith Hoffman. Now Keller will just flat-footed hit it back over for Brandon Valley. And in the middle, that time that was Boomsma. Excuse me, that was number 10, Ertelt. She was able to find the far outside corner on our radio dial and get the ball in, and that breaks the 3-0 Spearfish scoring run. Outside to Keller. Keller hits a cross court, couldn't find anything to fall. It's now Boomsma, her outside hitter position, hits it off the hands of Faith Hoffman and out of bounds. It's been a game of runs so far in this second set. As Avery Kirk digs up the serve, and now Kirk will just have to tip it back over. And now setting up the offense, and a great court awareness that time by the middle blocker, Abby Gruber. She was flying in from the volleyball line to try to go for the kill. Elected to go with the tip. Tipped it past the block and just inside the line to give Brandon Valley now a 4-point lead. As Reiners, she goes with the tip, and they will call Brandon Valley with a lift. Callie Reiners has done that quite a few times today and just throughout the season. As now Reiners, she will get an ace. Makes the score to within 2. Reiners now on to serve. Gets it dug up by Van Western, and hitting it back over is the middle hitter for Brandon Valley. And now Spearfish overpasses and is going to go back to Brandon Valley. Boomsma has her attempt blocked, kept alive by Brandon Valley. And now sending over the free ball is Torgame. Now to the outside to Keller. Keller hits it long and actually just sneaks it inside the back line and in. The flagman on the far side of the court first originally wanted to raise her flag, but then immediately points at the ground as she thought it was going to go out of bounds too, but it lands just inside the white line, and now it's a 1-point ball game. Again, Spearfish needing to win this set to force set number 3. As that time Boomsma hits it off the block of Keller, and it rolls off out of bounds, giving the point to Brandon Valley. Now entering the game is the freshman Logan McGuire coming in for Boomsma. McGuire with the serve. Kirk with the great dig. Faith Hoffman will hit it off the block. And hitting it out of bounds is Brandon Valley. And that gives a point to Spearfish, and they're just hanging in this second set, only down by 1. Adeline Bowman there with the serve. To the outside now is, that time that was Brandon Valley's number 3. That is Gruber again. And she finds Paydirt, and then now it's back to a 2-point game. The Spearfish was up by as much 3, and then now they have fallen behind by 2. They've fallen behind by as most 4. Addison Keller, she hits from the middle this time and hits it too far past the far outside corner and out of bounds. Brandon Valley's lead is now 3. If they take this set, they win the match. Outside to Avery Kirk. She hits a clear pass. A great recovery that time by Brandon Valley. Looked like it was going to roll out of bounds, but great hustle by Brandon Valley to stay in it. Addison Keller sends it right back where it was, and that is another point for Spearfish. Take a look at that one on the KDSJ Sports replay here on KDSJ-TV if you're joining us on Facebook or on YouTube. Catch those visuals as Brooklyn Yackley will send it back over. Now intended for Gruber. Gruber finds the wall put together by Avery Kirk and Tabitha Zanstra. And now Spearfish, they are starting to crawl their way back into this second set, only down by 1 point. Yackley to serve. Here's Brandon Valley on the attack from the back row. Here comes Stroh. Right when Spearfish tries to get some sort of momentum, here comes number 4 in the white and red numerals of the Black Tides. Sporting the Brandon Valley Lynx, she comes flying in like a missile and sends that ball into the ground. 2-point lead. Spearfish will set it over to Faith Hoffman. Hoffman gets it dug up by Gruber, and now a tip try, that time by Brandon Valley, is no good. Zanstra from the middle gets her spike dug up by Gruber, and now a free ball attempt over by Stroh. Reiners sets far for Kirk. Kirk finds an opening in the back row of Brandon Valley, and she finds Paydirt, and now it's back to a 1-point ball game. As Gruber will take a seat, and coming into the game now is Logan McGuire. Faith Hoffman will hit this one out and long and out of bounds. And Brandon Valley is the first to 20 as Logan McGuire quickly exits the game and comes back into the contest is Kennedy Boomsma. Now Spearfish needing to get some momentum. Here comes Avery Kirk, and just like she's done the whole year whenever Spearfish needs a play, look for the senior wearing the double ones in Avery Kirk as she hits her ball past the block and out of bounds off of Brandon Valley. 1-point ball game as now a tip that time by Jayana Stroh. Got by the block and no one was behind the block to dig up the ball, and it's back to a 2-point ball game. Again, whenever Spearfish has a little bit of momentum, here comes number 4, Jayana Stroh. And she's able to put something together. Now she's doing work from the service line. As Reiners, she tips it too hard, and it'll go over to Brandon Valley. As Boomsma's spike is blocked. Outside that time, and hitting it home is Logan Torgrud. Brandon Valley back to a 3-point ball game. They score 2 more. This contest is over. And we'll return to our regularly scheduled programming on KDSJ Radio after the conclusion of this contest and come back with Harrisburg Volleyball. After a tip over by Brandon Valley's number 9, Logan Torgrud, the sophomore at 5'6", makes it a 23-19 ball game. Spearfish showing a lot more fight to this set as they did in set number 1. But facing a tough Brandon Valley squad here today. It doesn't get easier as after this contest, their next opponent will be the number 1 ranked Harrisburg Tigers. Hoffman hits it long. Now to Boomsma. Boomsma hits it off of Yackley and out of bounds, and now it is set point, match point for Brandon Valley. finishing the game on a 5-0 scoring run. Here it is, match point for Brandon Valley. Zanstra hits in the middle, setting up for number 10, that is Ertelt. She's able to find Paydirt, and that is a game here in Spearfish. As Brandon Valley, they come in and take game number 1 of KDSJ and KDSJ-TV's coverage of the East-West tournament, as Spearfish, they lose their second game of the tournament. They lose to Brandon Valley by a score of 25-19. We'll be back after this short break with our post-game show. Recap this one, get our superior performer, and get you back to your favorite 60s and 70s, the Black Hills Gold hits. That's all coming up next right here on KDSJ-TV and KDSJ Radio.
Magic Inc. is proud to sponsor South Dakota's high school and collegiate athletes this season as they work alongside their partners at the South Dakota Beef Industry Council to deliver the Build Your Base sports nutrition program at local high schools and colleges around the state and the country. Are you looking for a simple, easy-to-follow program that can help you and your family optimize performance both on and off the field of play? Check out buildyourbase.org and learn why beef continues to be the premier protein for athletic performance and recovery.
You just got a quote from a company and are now being billed for not choosing them. Many contracts have what's referred to as a contingency agreement. These typically state that if you don't go with them, you, after insurance has approved the repair work, will be charged a percentage of the job they quoted. Ask up front if they charge to provide an estimate. Never sign anything that you haven't fully read or understand. If you have any questions, reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Vehicles today are complicated and expensive. The professionals at Junix Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Spearfish are here to guide you through everything automotive. From cars, trucks, and SUVs to parts and repairs, Junix takes the confusion out of automobile ownership. Enjoy the ride with Junix Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Family owned since 1931 on West Jackson in Spearfish.
Whatever the weather, Wolf's Plumbing and Heating keeps you in the comfort zone with expert heating and air conditioning repair or replacement from American Standard Mitsubishi. For over 70 years, Wolf's Plumbing and Heating has delivered quality service to the Northern Hills and Northeast Wyoming. When you need timely, expert service for heating, cooling, or plumbing, call 605-642-5755 or search Wolf's Plumbing and Heating and stay in the comfort zone.
As we are back here in Spearfish, where Brandon Valley, they win the game 2-0, 25-10, and then just moments ago, 25-19 over the Spearfish Spartans. They will now drop to 20-7 on the year, as game number 2 right now is Brandon Valley playing their second straight game. They will be taking on Rapid City Central. As we will be returning you back to regularly scheduled programming here on KDSJ. As we keep cruising through the 9 o'clock hour. About 15 minutes till we hit the top of the 10 o'clock hour. We'll have our latest weather forecast. We'll hear some news from our CBS newscast. And we'll get back to your favorites of the 60s and 70s. All up until we hit our Jake's Collision Repair pregame show, a shortened version of it, and they can give you the Spearfish Spartans taking on the Harrisburg Lady Tigers. But it is time to name a superior performer, brought to you by Superior Auto Solutions. You can give them a call at 605-642-9111 or see their inventory online at superioroutosd.com. As to name our superior performer, I believe we are going to go ahead and give it to Addison Keller, the outside hitter, as she was the most reliable offensive weapon for Spearfish this contest, as Spearfish was a little behind the 8 ball at the start of this contest, but it wasn't until Tabitha Zanstra started off the second quarter strong, able to, not Tabitha Zanstra, but Addison Keller started off the set strong with some kills and able to get Spearfish off to a lead there in sets number 2. But overall, Brandon Valley, their height, and I wouldn't say experience, they're still a very young team, but an athletic young team nonetheless, able to get the win over Spearfish by a score of 25-19. We'll take another quick break, come back with our Junix Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram scoreboard, and wrap this one up here on KDSJ.
Your Sand and Gravel of Spearfish supports community and school athletics. Plus, they support community development with services in and around the Black Hills. Fisher is an aggregate company headquartered in Spearfish with 2 local commercial quarries in Beulah and Newcastle, Wyoming. They sell all sizes of aggregates for commercial and individual projects, from a pickup load to thousands of ton. Whatever you need, Fisher Sand and Gravel, proud supporter of all community, college, and high school athletics. Good luck to all teams and athletes competing in today's game.
Drive it on to victory with the Granite Home Team. At Granite Automotive, making all the right moves and scoring points for a better customer experience is a true team effort. From sales to finance, showroom to service, every Granite Home Team member has a role to play and a job to perform to make sure your next buying experience is your best buying experience. Enthusiastically on your side. Drive Granite. Go team. Go Granite. Buick, Nissan, GMC. Rapid City. Click drivegranite.com.
For nearly 50 years, Low Roofing Incorporated has been the trusted name in commercial roofing across western South Dakota and eastern Wyoming. Family owned and operated since 1975, they bring quality craftsmanship and reliable service to every project, big or small. From repairs to new installations, Low Roofing Incorporated covers it all. Protect your business with the experts who care and products that last. Call 1-800-658-4543. Low Roofing Incorporated, building a legacy of trust, one roof at a time.
This year marks the 50th anniversary of Pillin Optical. Since 1974, Pillin has dedicated its business to serving the community with quality eye care at a great price. The inventory has grown, giving you the widest selection of frames while maintaining the best prices for your family eye care needs. Your family is special, and Pillin Optical wants you to enjoy every minute clearly with them. After all, at Pillin Optical, quality eye care and customer service is the most important thing next to your sight. Pillin Optical, family owned for 50 years, 409 Kansas City Street.
What is it?
As we're back here in Spearfish, game number 2 about ready to get started between Rapid City Central and Brandon Valley. We will send you back to our regularly scheduled programming with KDSJ Radio, and we'll end the stream here on KDSJ-TV. Don't go away, though, because we'll have Harrisburg and Spearfish coming up in a little over an hour, I do believe. That will be coming up around 11 o'clock. We'll have a Spearfish take on the number 1 team in the state in the Harrisburg Lady Tigers. As we will look at the Junix Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram scoreboard real quick and see what we have for scores that have been turned in, if there's been any have been updated so far. As we look at the scoreboard, nothing updated other than Harrisburg beating Rapid City Central 2-0, Watertown beating Douglas 2-0. Let's check out, that would be it for scores so far. Some more contests with the East-West tournament. That one that's warming up right now is Brandon Valley is Rapid City Central. Rapid City Stevens, they will take on both Harrisburg and Brandon Valley. Sturgis will play Brookings, Watertown, and Yankton. Douglas will play those 3 teams as well, as that's what Spearfish, Rapid City Central, and Stevens all played yesterday. And then the only Class AA match that's going on not involving this tournament is Aberdeen Central hosting Pierre. In Class A volleyball today, Cheyenne Eagle Butte is playing Newell. Hill City's in a tournament in Alliance, Nebraska. And in Class B action, Dupree's, playing Newell, and there's a triangular in New Underwood as well. Well, that will do it for this episode of KDSJ Sports, as Brandon Valley 2 sets to none, 25-10, and then 25-19 over the Spearfish Lady Spartans. Spearfish will be back in action here in a few, maybe a little over an hour, as they'll take on the Harrisburg Tigers, the number 1 team in the state, here a part of the East-West tournament. For KDSJ Radio and KDSJ-TV, I'm Clayson Davis, getting you back to your regularly scheduled program here on KDSJ.